All right. So, some of you guys have been through this training before, and some of you haven't. And so, what we're going to do today is go through a really nice, solid hour of intro training and how to convert these leads and really start crushing it. It's going to be a review for some, like I said, new for others. That said, I must have talked to, I don't know, 4 or 5 agents yesterday. It was just one of those days who are working these leads. And I was talking to one of them who's crushing it. And what was interesting about it is I had her walk through every single thing she's doing to work these leads, right? And one of the things she was doing was squarely not what I train. And what was interesting is her results are through the roof, right? So I said to her, I go, wow, everything you're doing is exactly what I trained with one exception. She's like, oh, I'd love to hear what that one exception is. So I told her, and she was like, oh, maybe I should change it. And I'm not telling you what it is because the moral to the story is I was like, look, you are setting appointments with like 95% of the people you talk to. Don't change a thing, don't change a thing. But what was interesting is she had gone to one of my trainings. And so the first thing I want to say with everything I'm going to say is, surrender, do what I say to do. And also, what's going to happen is you get your reps in and you be you. And if it's working, just keep going. Fair? Fair. But you don't get to break the rules until you learn the rules. Can we also say fair to that, right? So I'm going to teach you the rules of engagement to these leads, and they are very, very different leads. And I know for those of you who have been in this training, you know that, but you're going to hear something today that you haven't heard before. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really what these leads are and what makes them so unique and different. Because back in the day, we used to what? When a seller wanted to sell, what did they do? What did they used to do?
Call an
They used to
agent.
just call an agent. What would the agent do?
Go talk them into using them and meet them at the house, listing appointment, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you call an agent, the agent would show up, stick your sign in the yard, basically, if you got the listing, and that was that, right? It was simple. You were really the first call. They might have talked to some friends or neighbors, and then they would call the agent, and that was simple, right? Now what happens, guys? Now what happens before they even call an agent? Let's just start throwing them out. This chart is sort of arbitrary because it's in no particular order. Do they get on Chat GPT now? Say yes. Do they
Yes.
get on Cloud now? Do they Google their home value? Do they get on Zillow? Do they get on Redfin? Do they get
Estimate.
some? Yep, keep going. And what else do they do?
They talk to all their family and friends. They talk
Yep.
to Chat, Claude, Gemini, whoever they're using. They go to all those places first. They just search it on Google.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
million places now for them to go.
Yeah. And about 150,000 of them every month are requesting a cash offer on one of our sites, right? So this has become a huge part of the process now. It's just part of the 4, 5, 6, 7 things they do now. And then what happens? Then when do they call the agent, guys? Are you the first opinion now, or are you like the eighth opinion? Right? We all know that our roles have completely changed. We are no longer the first person they call. By the time they get to us, they already have some awareness of their options. They have some idea. At the very least, they've gotten on Zillow. More and more, they're on Chat GPT and Claude. I don't know about you guys, but have y'all? It is shockingly accurate. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Chat and Claude are shockingly accurate on their CMAs if you're inputting right. And I would challenge whether a consumer is inputting right. But my point is that they're shockingly accurate if you give good data, right? And so the difference with these leads and what makes them really, really unique is that you get this lead, and I really want you to focus on this and pay attention to this. You get this lead way sooner than they were ready to talk to a real estate agent. So we are basically inserting ourselves in the process. Let's go back here. We are inserting ourselves in the process before, in many cases, they would call an agent. So the way that you respond to these leads and the way you think about them has to be approached slightly different. They weren't ready to talk to you yet necessarily. Does that make sense? I want to make sure everybody understands this before we move on. Okay. So what the beauty and the magic and the uniqueness of these leads is we are actually usurping the consumer experience coming in sooner because they're not requesting a real estate agent. They are requesting what? What are they requesting with our leads?
Cash offer.
Cash
They're
off.
requesting a cash offer. They're not requesting you. Okay. So first thing I want you guys to really embody. Okay. All right. So we went through the new consumer behavior. Really interesting thing. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Really interesting thing. I this was a couple of weeks ago. I got on Google Trends and I searched cash offer. What I didn't search, which was cash offer house, cash offer home, cash offer for my home, I just put in cash offer because I wanted to see what was coming up. This is the top 10 results. Cash offer house, all cash offer, cash app. So we're going to delete cash app, but cash offer for home, offer up, instant cash offer for house, cash offer for house, cash off. 6 out of the 10 searches on Google Trends were something to do with a cash offer for their home. So what's starting to happen now is the consumer is starting to understand that there's programs available for them to get a cash offer on their home. And it's removing some of the scales skepticism in some of our markets that never had this. You guys who have gone to this training know this about me. But I'm from Seattle, Washington, and we did not have iBuyers. We did not have Open Door. We still don't. We don't have a lot of the cash buyers that some of you guys, like my Houston friends here, how many wholesalers and iBuyers and cash buyers do you guys have there? Like 10? I don't even know how many. Phoenix, any Phoenix friends in the room, right? You guys have markets that are just used to this. And in some markets, like my market, there was some skepticism, like, is this even real or true? Have you guys ever come across that before? They just don't believe it. They don't believe that someone could come in and give a cash offer on their home. Has anyone come up on that?
Well, I think that for us in Houston, we have wholesalers and
Yeah.
people that are buying ugly houses around every corner, and
Yeah.
so they're having conversations with them a lot, and so that does make them skeptical of what we're going to bring them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there's different type of skepticism, but it's still there. Yeah, yeah, really smart. You can see that they're Googling it. I thought this was really, really interesting, that's starting to happen. So let's talk about intent and another thing that makes these leads really different. Because I really it's important for me for you guys to understand the psychology of these leads, how they came in, what they're going through when they came in, because you're going to be better at converting them when you do. Okay, so thanks for paying attention today, because it's really going to help you to understand the psychology of the consumer. So at the very top, at what I would call a low intent is home valuation, and home valuation is just what is my home worth, right? You know, I think we can all agree that everybody wants to know how much their home is worth, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a selling sign, right? Now, I would also argue that, if I am searching for my home worth, I might be 1 degree higher intent than someone who's not. And I don't know that it's a very high intent activity, right? And, I still encourage you to work home valuation leads. There's a reason they're checking. They might be checking because interest rates, tick down and they might want to get a refi, who knows? Then we get into home value reports where someone is opening home value reports every month or 2 or 3 or maybe twice a month. And I don't know that it's a necessarily a huge selling signal, but I think it's a little bit more than not. I think if someone's starting to check them regularly, that starts showing some intent. Some other seller signals might be they're opening your newsletter that says top 5 things to get your house ready to market, top 5 exterior colors for the resale market, right? Those are all good content ideas, by the way. Cole, there you go. There's your content for the next 2 days. But my point is that we start seeing some downloads of articles we're sending. We start seeing some activity that starts pointing to, sell signals, right? Um, then we get into cash offer. We call it cash offer curious when they click on a cash offer and they click, yeah, I'm in no hurry. I'm just curious, but I kind of want to know. There is a reason they want to know. Trust me, there's a reason. May not mean that they're high intent. And then we get to the standard cash offer that says, hey, I want to sell my home in a specified amount of time, and I want to see how much a cash offer would be in my home. I don't know about you. I don't think you could get as high of an intent as that on an internet lead. Like I just don't see any other internet lead that has that high of an intent. Give me a cash offer on my home. I want to see it. Right? That's about as high of an intent signal as possible. And that's what these leads are. So how do these leads come to us and how do they find us? First of all, Realty.com owns hundreds of different URLs. Listed.com, Estimate.com, Texas.com. Do you guys know that? We own Texas.com. Yeah. A lot of you'd be surprised what you never know what website your leads are coming in at, but your leads might be coming in from Texas.com. And so, regardless of how they find us, we have about 150,000 homeowners a month who find us. When we dedupe them and title verify them, that goes down to 60 to 80,000 a month net seller leads that we run through a month, which is a lot of leads. Definitely that we're leading the nation in cash offer seller leads for sure. However, they find us, generally speaking, this is what it looks like. This is how they come find us. It's some kind of a form that looks like this. And as you can see, we sell to some of your home light leads are actually our leads. We sell to them and a lot of other the really big companies, right? And so they come in and they've either been directed there from an affiliate referral, from a number of different things, and they start filling out a form. And the first thing they do is they say if they're the homeowner. And we are the only lead service that I know that I have ever worked with or for that title verifies our leads. And what that means is we cross-reference the homeowner on file with the county records with the lead that fills out the form. And that's why we go from 150,000 down to 60 or 80,000, because if we can't do that, we pull them out into our ISA department and then we have our ISAs work on them. So sometimes you guys might be getting some live connects. That's sometimes the reason why they're going through our ISAs. There's a couple other reasons, but just so you guys know. So generally speaking, any lead you get has been title verified, which is huge because if they try to tell you they don't know what this is, they didn't fill it out, they, they've been title verified. Sometimes what you'll find is a spouse will fill it out for another spouse, a parent will fill it out for a child will fill it out for a parent. Not by child, I mean like it could be a 40-year-old child, for an 80-year-old parent. But we will come across that. But someone has filled this out and they have gotten title verified, just so you guys know. The form is a beautiful, beautiful form fill, and I won't get into details, but with tech companies, forms are a huge topic. For every single question you ask, you experience drop off, but you want enough questions to make a really good pre-qual lead, right? So there's this fine line of balancing. This form is Lance Custon, our founder, is truly a genius. He truly is a genius. He's crafted this form. You can see up here it has how far you are along in the form. There's a lot of psychology behind that, showing how far you have left, helps people stay on a form. Just so you guys know, we have an auto advance feature. This is the best form on the market. We go through a series of questions just so you guys know. In fact, some of you who are working these leads have already noticed it. Sometimes you get a lead in and there's only 3 or 4 questions answered. Have you guys seen that? You only see 3 or 4 things. Sometimes there's like 10. Have you guys noticed that? Where sometimes you get all this information, sometimes you don't. Depending on how they come in, we don't have the same form for every one of our affiliate referrals that come in and for all of our websites. So we play around with it a lot. Some form fills are longer, some are shorter. So really briefly, I'm kind of giving you a comprehensive form here that you're going to see as much as this, but you may not see all of it. So what is the general condition of your home? You may or may not see this one, right? Depending on how you get the lead. But in this case, ready to list, normal wear and tear, needs minor work, needs major work, home value, what do they think the value is? Side note, when you get the lead, you're actually not getting what they think the value is. You're getting an AVM pricing on the lead. So when it gives price, it's not what they think. But if you ever see this, it's really good to see what they think the house is worth, right? Really, really good detail. Okay, is the property currently listed? Here's the second thing. Besides title verifying, we also cross-reference this on your MLS and make sure it's not listed. Obviously, the one exception, which does happen from time to time, is that they've just signed listing paperwork, but it hasn't gone active on the MLS. So obviously there'd be no way for us to know that, right? But for the most part, it shouldn't be listed unless anyone here is from the kind of MLS that has more cows than humans. If you're in one of those MLSs, we're probably not a member and you might have to cross-reference. But for the most part, we're a member of 200, the 250 major ones. So here's a biggie. This will be on 100% all of your incoming leads because this is how we define it as a cash offer lead. What is your selling preference? How would you prefer to sell your property? A, show me all your options. B, list with an agent. C, get a cash offer. 99% of these guys click get a cash offer. Now, what I will say is I used to joke around that, it's like Christmas time when it says list with an agent. Like, what a dream, right? I said that, and one of my BFFs in Phoenix who bought these leads literally got one that said, I want to list with an agent. So happy birthday to you if you just happen to get like that 1% of person who clicks, I want to list with an agent. 99% of these guys are clicking, I want to get a cash offer on my home. So you'll have to let me know if you guys get one because they do slip through every once in a while. Reason for selling, which is so huge. And this is on almost all form fills. They will fill out, buying a new property, financial hardship, relocating, downsize, whatever. Sometimes they'll say just curious on here. And I just want to encourage you guys. That doesn't mean they're just curious. That means they're not ready to tell anybody yet, right? And your job, and we're going to get into this, is to bond really quickly and to discover what their pain point is really quickly. So just because they write just curious on here, don't necessarily think that that's it, right? Timeline. ASAP, within 3 months, within 6 months, in no rush. Now, this is the controversy we have, us nerds have behind the scenes at Realty. When they say in no rush, do they really mean in no rush? And the answer is I don't think so. I think some people put in no rush because they don't want you to know that they're in a rush necessarily. They don't want to feel pressured by a salesperson necessarily. So I also think some people put in no rush because they are in a rush. So I think that it just means nothing. I think it means your job is to just pre-qualify them, is what I think. And then their contact information. So first name, last name, email, and phone number. And I just want to pause here because even on some of our shorter form fills, who on God's green earth would get online, proactively get on this, fill out all of this form with their contact information if they did not want to be contacted? Who? That's what makes these leads, you guys, so freaking good because there's hardly any leads where they go through this much to get here. Does that make sense? Any questions on that at all before we move on? Any questions at all? Okay.
Via, you said that there's different forms, like
Yeah.
so. I guess all like the leads that are coming in that we're getting, that they're not all coming from this form. This is a much longer form.
Yeah, this is kind of the longest. That's why I go through it to show you all the possibility of questions. But if you ever notice a lead coming in that doesn't have all these questions, it just means because we're bringing in one of the strengths of our leads, Cole, is that they're not all pay per click. A lot of them are affiliates. So let me give you an example of affiliate. Let's say there's a really strong divorce discussion board group. We might have an affiliate relationship whereby they're referring to us because divorce is a really good motivating factor. Has anyone gotten any divorce ones yet?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how strong they are, Cole. That we might have gone into, we have thousands of relationships. That's where Lance is really, that's where his background is with HostGator, is doing affiliates. He was kind of one of the OGs in this space doing them. So maybe it came in through that or whatnot, and maybe he pulled out some friction points. Maybe he learned that 4 questions or 5 questions was better for that group over some, split testing or whatnot, right? So you might notice though, some of your leads come in with some of the questions off, like maybe condition of home's not on that one, maybe
Yeah.
whatever. So it just kind of depends. It just kind of depends. Okay, great question though. All right. Here's what we know about these leads. We have a third party monitoring these leads, and this is, I think, one of the biggest things that you can take away from this. About 5% of these leads are typically tend to be cash offer or alternative off-market candidates. So said another way, about 1 in 20 of these ends up being truly, I want to sell my home and I kind of need to sell my home in the next 2 or 3 weeks, right? The rest of them are listing leads, and that's what most of our people find. Now, some of my teams are getting closer to 10%, and I think that's just because they're so good at alternative off-market resources, and they're so good at exit options that they're coming in stronger and they're presenting the possibility in such a way that they're getting a higher conversion. What we focus on expands. And when we get confident and good at something, we tend to close to that thing, right? So, some of our coaches are seeing closer to 7 or 8% are more cash offer or off-market candidates. Here's the biggie though. Our third party is telling us that 30% of these leads sell their home within 12 to 18 months. So a third of these leads will transact their home. Oh, hold on, I'm letting someone in. Yes, Jill, I got you. About 30% of these leads are going to transact their home in 12 to 18 months. A third, you guys, a third. So why am I telling, please, please call until you get them. Please, please do not give up. Please initiate a 10 or 20 day of pain plan. Please come back to these leads. Please give them drip campaigns. Please follow 30, 60, 90 days out. Interviewed an agent a couple of months ago who had done, and I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow again to do a follow-up, but he had done six of these deals his first 45 days of working them. Six listing agreements, pendings, and solds in 45 days. His best luck is with 30 to 60-year-old leads. He is doing speed to lead and he's getting a chunk then, and then he sees a gap, and then he's doing really, really well 30 to 60 days out. Come back to 30% are going to transact within 12 to 18 months. You know what? If there's anything you hear today, it's that, right? A third of these will transact. The question is, will it be with you? And so they did not fill out that form. There's a reason I spent a long time on that. They did not take the time to do that unless they want to be contacted and or there's a problem that they need to be solved. The statistics we all know are that the first person to meet with them is most likely the one they're going to hire. We just know that. That is real estate. This gal that I interviewed yesterday, Cole, what was it? 8 appointments, 7 agreements. Did I get that right? Something nuts like that? You're muted.
Yeah, she's something like that. She's on fire.
I
But
mean,
what you just said though is absolutely true. Like the that you're either getting them as soon as you set the appointment with them, or they're kind of backing off the appointment, and then we're seeing maybe 2, 3 months later, they're reaching back out, or something happened to where we can actually set the appointment now. But we're not letting off of them, and the ones
yes.
that are, I'm creating a whole other Realty.com pond for other agents to keep following up on if I realize that they're not being followed up on by the cohort that we have right now. Because it
Oh,
is that those people are, I mean, it's like 30 to 90 days, the
yeah.
appointment's being set.
Yes, sweet spot. That's a sweet spot. So we want to try to get them right away, right? Speed to lead is going to be your biggest hack for contact rate. And either follow up after you have that initial contact with them if you didn't convert it to agreement, or if you didn't get a hold of them, keep going. I have one agent on the West Coast. He's getting a hold of people on average day 17 and 18. It's just the way it is for him. He's staying with it. He's using all three modalities, call, text, and email. And what he's doing is tracking when they open the email, he then goes and calls. So he kind of knows that they're active on it. So don't forget email. Be sure that that's on your 10 or 20 days of pain. I know it seems a little bit old school, but some of these sellers they're not you. They are sort of old school, right? Okay, here we go. Okay. So this is our number so far. So for those of you who, I might have trained 2 or 3 months ago, here's what's interesting. I have been at Realty for since December. And when I came, we didn't have a lot of end data of our clients. We have the data that we give, but I've been in a feedback loop with some different teams. The Bridge Group's one of them, and some different teams around the US. And so we're starting to get the aggregate data in. Okay. So most leads convert at 1 to 2% a year. So if you get about 100 buyer leads, typically you can expect to close one or two of those a year. Takes about a year for cumulative roll up. Really good teams are at 3, 4, 5%. I mean, because it gives time, a year gives enough time to kind of get the people who you've nurtured, kind of what we're talking about, who kind of, there's a whole life cycle there. So far, what we're seeing, and this is probably 4 months of data now, so about 4 months in. So this is early data, which means it's going to be higher when we get our year data. Does that make sense? Because we're still, there's people are still in the pipeline. We're seeing approximately 24% lead to appointment set. So give or take just shy of 1 in 4 leads. That is our average on this group that I'm tracking, you guys. I don't know how to express how high that is. I just don't know how to express how high that is, where 1 in 4 leads in aggregate are turning into appointments. You, these are amazing leads. They're really amazing leads. So I really want you to listen when I train you on how to convert. On average, we're seeing 18.8% set to met, or excuse me, I don't know what that means actually. About 5% so far, agreements signed or in motion. So what that means is listing agreement, buyer agreement, pendings or solds, or they were putting on their sheets that they were sending to me. meeting with two of them for the second time tomorrow to sign the buyer agreement, and we threw them on here, right? So that might be more like 4% because we kind of round it up, so to speak. But to be at 4 to 5% in a 4 month period means we're on our way most likely to 10 or 15% for a yearly conversion, which is insane. It's insane. We'll have to see how it pans out. But if you're not for every, I would say for you guys, for every 3 to 5 people you talk to, you should be setting an appointment. That's how you can translate this slide. And if you're not, it's okay. Get some coaching, get some help. Come into us. We've got regular coaching all the time. And Jimmy's on. He's one of our new coaches. We've got Wally. So be sure that you're getting regular coaching from us. Just face it head on. If you're not getting the results you need, you just need a little coaching. Don't shy away from it. Don't cancel. Don't say, "Oh, this isn't for me." You just need to tweak something you're doing. You know what I mean? Like get the emotion out of it and get help because these leads are amazing and they'll change your business. All right. Okay. Here's what we know. What we know is we're getting two types of leads. Cole, I'd be curious to hear, what your thoughts are on this, but we're getting two types of leads on this. We're either getting the immediate, I really do need to sell my house right now, like in the next 2 to 3 weeks. 5% of these might be that. The second round are the nurtures. Because remember that little animation I showed you at the beginning, where I said we're kind of inserting ourselves a little bit before they would have called an agent. So we're getting these nurtures. Now, these nurtures, when I say nurture, I think sometimes our brain goes to 6 to 12 months. No, no, no. They could be a 30 or 60-day nurture. A lot of these leads, like Cole was just talking about, his agent, the agent I talked to, these 30, 60, 90-day leads are actually, those are nurtures, right? Where they weren't quite ready to call an agent yet. So you're either getting right away or you're getting a nurture. If you have a nurture, what do you need to be really good at? Someone want to unmute and answer. What do you need to be good at if you know you're going to be getting nurtures?
Follow up.
Follow up. So be sure you guys have some kind of automation. The minute I say automation, you tune out. That sounds too fancy, whatever. By automation, I just mean set up an email campaign, a little texting. It doesn't have to be complicated. Any CRM is going to allow you to do that. Do something. Worst case scenario, set up reminders to prompt you to call them. And if you're there. Point is, don't lose them. Don't lose them. Continue to follow up, right? Continue to follow up because some of them are early stage seller leads. The motivation's high, but you might have gotten them a little early stage. Is anyone experiencing that yet? Kind of either right away or we're getting them a little early stage and then they come back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 months.
Yeah, I also think it's how you set it up. Like I think it's because a lot of our agents we have to remind them, and I know we had to get on a call as well in the beginning because the agents kept coming at it like it was a listing appointment.
Yeah.
And so that delayed their appointment setting because they were leaving the whole reason for getting our foot in the door like behind, which was the cash offer.
Hmm.
And so I said it's two different hats, right? Like it's a cash offer hat, and that's what we wear until they say, "I hate your cash offer price." It's
Yeah.
like, great, I have another option for you. And then that's when it turns into the listing. But they were leading with, "I'm an agent," and this and that. No, like
No.
you're going to bring them a cash offer.
Well, and let's talk about it. Like that was the perfect segue, for me. So as you recall, when we went through all of the form fill, we went through everything. Do you remember at any point, except for the happy birthday part, do you remember any point where they ever asked for a real estate agent to call them? Does anyone remember anything? Did they fill out anything on that form whatsoever that said they want a real estate agent to call them? Do you remember anything on there? Okay, the answer is no. They never once requested a real estate agent. Okay. So the first thing I want you guys to do, I'm going to go back to this. The first thing I want you to do when you make the call, I do not want you to lead the call off introducing yourself as a real estate agent. This is the biggest change from the way you're used to doing things. Do not introduce yourself as a real estate agent as the first thing. This is the biggest change. This is what makes these different from any leads. Yes, If you need and want to disclose that you're a real estate agent sometime in the call, please do. Do not lead the call that way. It's confusing. They did not ask for you. What you want to do is you want to open the call acknowledging their request for what they asked for, which is what? What did they ask for? Oh, I will sit here for hours.
I'll save you. Cash offer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. They requested a cash offer. So the first thing I want you guys to do if you're taking any notes for the beginning of every single one of these phone calls is I want you to say, "Hi, this is Via. I got your request for a cash offer. Is 123 Main Street the home that you're taught that you would like to sell?" Please do not say this is Via Williams with blankety blank Realty, and I'm calling to see if you want to sell your home. Please do not do that. Respond to the request for a cash offer. Do not lead off that you're a real estate agent. Okay. This right here is going to get you through to way more appointments. If you're an agent on this call who has been introducing yourself as a real estate agent, try this and you're going to get farther faster. You're going to have a way better conversion on these calls. Okay. That's the first thing. Now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go back here. We find that these sellers have buckets of pain points, right? I call them the six P's. So either the biggest one is pace. Okay. So typically they're in some kind of a hurry or perceived hurry. That's the only reason they check that. Like, so speed, some kind of a speed reason they need to sell. Number two, financial distress, payments, some kind of financial hardship. Understanding, by the way, that financial hardship is a spectrum. Financial hardship can be as simple as they're paying their bills, but they don't have really any extra to put to do anything to the house. Like if one thing happened with their paycheck, they'd probably be screwed. But so they're on the precipice, all the way up to they're 6 months behind on payments and their house is under foreclosure. So it could be a big spectrum. Financial distress does not mean they're 6 months behind on the payments, though, right? So sometimes it just means that they're light on cash and they can't do what they need to do to get their house prepped. Which leads to number three, there's something wrong with their property. They know it. They're nervous about doing repairs. They're nervous about their property. I get people who sometimes think they have a lemon or they're just so worried about the repairs and stuff that they want to do this for whatever reason. Sometimes you'll get, quasi hoarder homes. It's going to happen. Here, has anyone gotten one yet? Because by the way, not only have I gotten one from these leads, I bought one. I bought a hoarder home. Has anyone here gotten a hoarder home yet? They're great, great for investors and even for yourself. I mean, we did great on that house. Number four, relocation. That's a really big motivation in Seattle, in my market. Relocation's a really big one. They are often moving to a lower price market. I have a really high price market. And they're like, I just want to use the money. I want to sell this fast, use the money to go buy my new location. Probate. Some of our friends here in Florida in different areas, you guys get a lot of inherited properties. New Mexico gets some of these. I know that one of our partners in the Minneapolis Twin Cities, they get a lot of these too, where the kids have moved on, and then the parents pass and they just don't want to have to fly up and deal with the house. And then lastly, privacy. And this is again kind of going into some of the hoarder homes. So we're trying to uncover the motivation and what's really happening on this phone call. Okay. All right. The other thing I wanted to express to you, I can't express the biggest hack in all of this is speed to lead. Your skill is actually not near as important as how fast you try to get a hold of them. And the reason is that they're not on this much longer than a few minutes. They're filling out the form on their phone or they're filling out the form on their computer. They're not really lingering on that website very long. So if you don't get them in the first 2 minutes, certainly the first 5 minutes, your chances of getting a hold of him drop like 400%. Maybe it's 800%. It's a massive amount. So really trying to get him in the first 120 seconds of getting that lead into 5 minutes. If you guys are kind of out active with buyers a lot, one little script I use sometimes is I'll be like, hey, I'm super excited to show you these houses. I am expecting a call, and so I may just have to step aside for a few minutes if I get it. I hope that's okay. And really, what I'm doing is just I want to be there and I want to be able to answer a lead really fast, right? And so I just kind of prep my buyers. Okay, so your goal on the phone is never ever to discuss the cash offer. So the first thing I want you guys to do is answer it fast. Get so fast. Number two, I want you to lead off the call responding to their cash offer, not introducing yourself as a real estate agent. Number three, you have one call outcome. You know what that is? It's to get an appointment. These are very appointment focused leads. Everything you do is to get yourself into their house in an appointment as soon as possible. So your phone call's not to sell yourself. Your phone call's not to discuss the offer. The only purpose of this phone call is to pre-qual and get yourself in the door. It's only a successful phone call if you got their pain points and pre-qualified them and got an appointment set, ideally for that same day, worst case 24 hours, okay? Everybody tracking with me? That's how you know the call was successful. The only successful call is an appointment set and pre-qual done. Okay. So we talked about ways to open the call. Hi Jill, this is Via Williams. I got your request for a cash offer. Hey, is it 123 Main Street that you're looking to sell? And then you go into the script, which I'll make sure you guys have the script. Hi, this is Via Williams. You asked about a cash offer on your home. Hi, this is Via Williams. I'm calling about the cash offer you requested on 123 Main Street. Okay, whatever it is, right? I fill out these forms a lot when I get ads sent to me, and I have really good news for you. Your competition sucks. They're really not good. All of you guys are better on the phone than them. I called one this morning. They didn't answer. Finally called me back, kind of a voicemail. You guys are way better. Everything we're teaching you, you guys do this, you are going to be heads and tails over the other. Even if you're in a market where 20 people are calling, you will be better if you do this. Trust me. Has anyone here been on the other end of it? Have you guys been on the receiving end of it? I would encourage you guys to fill out some of these forms and your ego is gonna feel really good. You're all gonna feel really good. And then if you have a team, you should recruit them anyway. So there you go. So I always confirm the address because sometimes they own multiple properties. And then what we want to do is immediately get into the pain point. And there's different ways to do this. I'm going to walk you through some of the questions that I asked, and like I said, I'm going to hand you guys the script. But the first thing we want to do is if we want to see pretty quickly if we think they are an alternative off-market cash buyer lead, right? So the first thing we want to do is, well, Jimmy, ideally, when would you like to have your home sold by? Now, if Jimmy says to me soon, the next few weeks, right? I'm like, okay, Jimmy might be going down this path of being a cash buyer. If Jimmy says, oh, maybe by the end of summer, early fall, right? I know Jimmy's a listing candidate at that point, right? So the first thing we know, speed is going to really determine where we're going to slot them and what it's going to look like. Yeah, I can understand that, Jimmy. Let me ask you this. What's more important to you, time and convenience or your bottom line? And really, this is such a great question because really what starts happening and probably the best way to determine if someone's a cash offer lead or if they're a listing lead is this. A true cash offer lead talks about the house like it's a burden, like it's an obstacle. They talk about it in a way that's really different from how 95% of homeowners talk about their houses. Because 95% of homeowners talk about their houses like, well, I want to get the most out of it. I expect to get X amount out of it. There's an expectation that they're going to get a certain ROI out of their house, that they're going to get a certain amount, that they have equity in it. The small percentage of people who talk about their house like it's burden, like, God, I inherited this. I don't even want to go out there. I don't even know what it's worth. Like I just actually time is probably more important to me than money. They start to, I already bought a house. I just want to get rid of it. When you start hearing language like that, because it's unusual. People don't talk about their houses that way. Usually people think of their house as an asset. When you hear someone talking about the house like it's a burden, that they're your cash offer. That right there, they are actually a cash offer candidate. You can get a check and close in 21 days. Trust me. And it's really easy to spot because most people don't talk that way. Most people kind of talk in a way that they expect to get equity out of their house. Has anyone here had a cash buyer yet? Has anyone here worked a cash buyer on any level with a local investor with an iBuyer? Should have asked that at the beginning. No, no one? Jill, have you guys ever worked these? I know you just got these leads, but have you ever worked with these cash buyers, cash sellers, I mean?
I think I think a better question is anyone ever worked like a Zillow Seller Connect lead even?
No, not this group. Jill, have you
Yeah,
ever
we've
worked?
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've worked with and that. I mean, we sell off market properties all the time.
Do you know what I mean? They talk differently, don't they? They talk like it's a burden and like they just want to get rid of it.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, Nikki, that's on the call, she's handled. I think we've got one right now that's about to close with a wholesaler or investor or something. So yeah,
Nikki, can you unmute? Are you in a position to unmute?
I think she's driving from one
She's
appointment to
driving.
another.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah.
won't. I won't pull her then. Because you start hearing, you can hear it really clearly, and it's not that many of them, right? Most people are going to come out of this being listing candidates, right?
Hmm.
So either way, what we want to do in these cases is we want to drive to an appointment. So we want to understand their pain point. And we want to drive to appointment, right? I can't express enough. The agents that are really, really good at converting these lead with empathy. So you really want to, hey, what's going on, Jimmy? Tell me about your house. What made you fill out this form, right? How fast do you want to sell? What's driving this? Is it just the convenience of it, or is your bottom line more important? What's the reason for you to sell right now? What's making you want to sell your home right now, right? I never ask why questions. In the language of sales, we never want to ask a why question that tends to raise defensiveness. So always try to create a what or a how question around what you're trying to get at, right? The agents who do really well, though, sound human and they sound empathetic, right? They're really listening. These can be 3.5 to 5 minute calls to get your appointment, and you can get everything you need in these calls. You need to have your questions ready. Okay. You need to have your questions ready, and you need to
I
be
did.
really, really smooth at converting the questions right into the appointment set. Okay. So someone who, is a lot of the times what you're going to get, someone's going to say, well, I just want to see the number. I just want to see the number. I don't really want to have anyone over. I'm not really sure. I'm not really that serious. I don't want to waste anybody's time. Has anyone had that before? I just want to kind of know the number, know the range. Has anyone had that that's been working these a little bit? Whenever I get an objection like that, what I want to do is I want to acknowledge the objection. And then I want to say, yeah, it doesn't work that way because I have to see the inside of it home, both for myself and an investor, in order to price it out. The good news is it doesn't have to be clean, doesn't need to be prepped for me. I just need to come in and see the home. Would today at 4 be better? I could come by at 6. And actually, I'm going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow and I have an 11 o'clock. So I could come by either at 9:30 or I could come by at about 12:30. Which one of those works best for you? I found that when I give them options like that, and I know that someone that we met with a couple of weeks ago, who is a Zillow Connect client, and they do a high volume of leads, their appointment set has doubled using the script. Hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow, and what they've been doing is they've been calling old leads. I need to put this in the slide deck because it's so good. And they've been saying, hey, I know that we spoke a couple of weeks ago, or I know we spoke a couple months ago. I'm going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow or Saturday or whatever the day is at 10. It'd be a great time for me to swing by. Could I come swing by around 9:30 or afterwards? Which one would be better for you? He said they are crushing it with that because people don't feel like they're burdening them to come out. So it's a way to sweep through some old leads and to say that. I thought that was really, really good. That's new. It's not even on my deck because we just talked to him. So ideally, we want to ask a series of questions and we want to prequal, and this can be done really, really fast. If you can find out how much do they owe and how much they want for the property before you come in, that's great. It really is great when you can get that. You want to know as much about the house as possible. So asking open-ended questions about it. Have you made any recent improvements, or is there anything you think that needs to be done before you can sell? And this is when you really start hearing people's fear. Some people have a lot of fear around things that need to be done before they have to sell. We obviously want to lead off with, when are you planning to sell? And then we want to find out what's making them sell or why they're selling, right? So these are some general questions that you can ask. They're also on our script that we give out, right? Now, the other thing is that hopefully if there's more than one person that's there making the decision, that they're both present, right? So are you the only one involved in this decision? No, my husband or my wife or my partner, is also going to be making it. That's great. It'd be great if they could be there tomorrow when I do the walkthrough so that we can kind of talk about this together, right? That's especially important if you think that they're a now cash offer candidate. And we all know this anyway. That's nothing new, right? Get really good at get really good at giving them certainty. Sales skepticism is at an all-time high right now. So if you're not able to convert this to an appointment, there's something you're doing that they don't trust. They don't trust your process. They feel like you're bait and switching. They just don't quite they don't trust that it's real. They want a number without the commitment of someone coming over. So as you guys are scripting and role playing, I just want you to practice your confidence. And I want you guys to, spend time with Wally and Jimmy and the people on our team, but just spend time getting really good at these because something is causing them to not trust you if you're not able to schedule an appointment. Most of my good agents are scheduling appointments with 7 out of 10 that they talk to. It's a really high, should be a really high appointment set rate. Okay. If you're not at a really, really high appointment set rate, there's something you're doing, there's something in your voice that they don't trust because they filled out that form. Do you remember that form we went through? They filled out a very long form. They gave you their contact information. They want to talk to somebody. So be sure that you are conveying that you can come and show them options and solve their problems for them. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to stop there because the rest of this deck is just kind of going into a series of objections. And I'd rather have you guys ask questions and use the rest of our time we have together to go through any objections you're seeing and anything that you guys want help with. So what are you guys coming up against? Jill, how many of these have you guys worked with so far?
We haven't, we're still onboarding.
Oh, you're still
So
onboarding.
I
Okay.
had so I had a call with Zach scheduled for last Friday that I needed to reschedule, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him on when to reschedule that, if you can
Okay.
help me with that.
All right. Jimmy's taking note of that. So we'll make sure that we get you
Yeah, we need to
scheduled.
get our Sierra set up, and that's what he was going to help me with on Friday. And
Okay.
then all the leads in the beginning are going to go to Nikki. She's going to be the agent that kicks this off for the team, and then we'll roll it out to others after that.
Okay, that sounds good. Janie, Pratik, Dwayne, you guys have any questions, anything that's coming up for you that you want to kind of use the group to help troubleshoot it all? No? Okay. All right. Did you learn anything new from the last training, Pratik? Do you feel like? Okay. Okay. All right. Jill, is there anything we didn't I can't do this in the appointment on the same training. It's just too long and it's just me talking too much and nobody retains that much information. So besides the appointment, is there anything on here that you want to kind of get clarification on? Do you feel like you go start working them now? Let me give you the
Yeah.
script. Okay. Let me just give you guys.
Yeah. And then I do have a call. I'm not sure what it's for, but it's coach intro with Wally Bressler
Yeah, that'll just be
at
more of
3. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you guys as viewer, which means you're gonna have to make a copy of it on your Google Drive. Okay. Okay. So that's the script. And Wally's a great resource. He's worked these leads, a long time. The biggest thing I can impress upon all of you guys is to be very appointment forward on these leads. You want to set an appointment with 100% of these leads. Your only call objective is to schedule an appointment and to pre-qual. That's it. So just be assumptive, take these calls with the assumption you're gonna walk them through all the options. Almost all of them are gonna end up as listing candidates, right? But we want to start off the call responding to their cash offer request, not leading off identifying ourselves as real estate agents. Okay. All right. Well, I think I just gave everybody 9 minutes back yet. Lance, do you want to add anything to this?
No, just happy if everyone's here can ask Q&A, and happy to have everyone aboard. And Via, you did a great job. And Jimmy, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I mean, the biggest thing is to stress Via's point again is like these leads, they need help, right? One doesn't matter what help it is, it's figuring out what that is and kind of peeling back that onion for them to open up to us. And that's the biggest piece of the emotional intelligence side of it, right? Why do they need it? When do they need it? What's happening? And just going into those questions and always coming from a place to help. So that's my biggest takeaway. And Via, you covered that phenomenal.
Yeah, I talked to this thank you. I talked to this agent yesterday. She's had 8 leads, and I think I said she had seven agreements. I'm going to feature her on a webinar coming up. But and uh I made her walk through exactly what she does, and she's so empathetic. Like her tone is like and I think I don't see Nikki on here anymore, but Jill, you should tell her this because I think, her tone was like, hey Jill, she just kind of calls and I'm calling for your customer cash offer and what's going on? And then she asked some questions in a way, she's like, how did she say it? It was so good. It was so over the top empathetic, and I mean that in a good way. Let me see if I can find how she worded it because I was taking notes.
And
I found
typically,
it.
women are better at this than men are.
I didn't say that, you did.
I know.
Mhm.
I've been married for 26 years. I get it.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. I know I took, oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me find it. She said within the first 20 seconds, she's finding something she can relate to them with. And she said she wants to find their pain point as fast as she can. And she always states over and over again that she's there to help. So she's like, hey, I'm just curious to know what your situation is. And, what your situation is one of her questions. Sorry, I'm just trying to read my notes right now. Um, she's like, yeah, I don't like giving the value of your home without seeing the property. So I'd love to come by and take a look at the property in person and take the time to get to know you better. That's kind of her little script around that. Um, and she said she makes her appointments almost always same day, never longer than 2 days. That's her big thing. And she says they never tell you on the phone that they're not behind on their mortgage, but they will tell you they're distressed on the phone if they are. And I found that's true. I have found actually, you guys, one thing to note, if they're distressed, if they're truly distressed, they actually are more open to tell you. The people that withhold and feel cagey are actually probably not distressed. I have found true distressed people, Lance, I don't know if you found the same, they actually will tell you. Like, look, I got to figure this out. Like we have Houston, we have a problem, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and a lot of the people filling out these forms are distressed. That's the other
yes.
thing too.
She said she was telling me, and she is in Houston, she was telling me that almost all of them have some level of distress, out of the 8 leads she's received. And she said that they never tell her that they're behind on their mortgage on the phone, but they end up telling her, they're like, they will tell her there's some distress. When she gets there, they always tell her when she gets there in person, just so you guys know. The other thing is she says in these cases, she does not pull out her laptop right away. She doesn't do the home tour right away. In these cases, what she sits down and has a human to human, eyeball to eyeball conversation. And she's like, tell me the full situation and don't be embarrassed. I'm here to help. And she leans in. She told me her body language is leaning in, and that's how she starts off her appointments. So she leads with kind of empathy, right? 7 out of 8 leads, 7 out of 8 agreements. So you know what I mean? So I just want you guys to hear this, right? She actually is not leading with cash offers. She has 3 investors, and what she does is she immediately fires off the address to the investors. And they always give her very, very quickly 3 options. If the house is really, really bad, it's going to be this price. If the house is okay, it's this price. If the house is pristine, it's going to be this price. They trust her at this point. So she's not even using iBuyers anymore because she has local investors. They completely trust her to give the price based on that, right? So she is crushing it. I mean, she is just crushing it. If you guys don't have local investors yet, start with iBuyers, but you get 1 or 2 of these good deals and investors will come screaming at you. They all want, good off-market deals like this. So she said that distress is involved in almost every single one of these leads that she talks to. And yeah, she always, always, always her goal of the first phone call is to immediately get into an appointment. That's it. She wants to find the pain point and set an appointment. So her average phone call is 3.5 to 5 minutes. And her advice, when I asked her advice to agents, It was not approaching, the agents are not approaching it on a personal level where she thinks most of them are going wrong. They're coming in and they're just kind of approaching it like, here's your cash offer, or whatever. And she thinks it's her empathy and the way that she's kind of approaching them as a human. She's helping them. She kind of shows up as a helper. I'm here to solve your problem. That's what she thinks is winning her these deals. So it was a good interview. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for showing up. We're recording this one, so we'll put it in the library and let us know if we can do anything. Have a
Thanks,
great day,
guys.
everyone.
Jill, we'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds good. Where can I find the library, Jimmy?
On the portal, Jimmy will get that for you. I have my finger when I unclick this is going to go off, but Jimmy will get it for you.